Who has better jets, China or the US? The answer is much more complicated than you think, because China used to be a very different country, even just a few years ago. China used to be extremely reliant on superpowers, like Russia, but now they've put in the time, the money, and most importantly, the best engineers to make some jets that the US has even seen yet. How did I see them, you ask? Never mind that. Let's dive into the list. US fighter jets. Stars and Stripes. P-80 shooting. Star, 1945. The P-80 was the US. first turbojet fighter. But what is a turbojet? Well, a turbojet is a type of jet engine that produces thrust by taking in air, compressing it, mixing it with fuel, burning all of that mixture, and using the newly formed gas to propel itself forward. For 1945, this was unreal, and the P-80 was quite literally the star child of the US born. Right at the end of World War II, it was designed, built, and flown in record time. The war ended before it could see combat, but this aircraft was no slouch. It set speed records and laid the groundwork for the US jet age. Think of it as the grandparent of every US fighter jet that came after. Slow compared to modern jets, but absolutely groundbreaking for its time. F-84, Thunderjet, 1947. Turbojet? Check. Fighter bomber? Check. Swept wing upgrade with a new name. Sounds cool, so it must be there. Well, a swept wing allows the jet to angle their wings, which delays shock waves and all the aerodynamic drag caused by moving near the speed of sound, which means that the Thunderjet could go fast. The F-84 was born in the early Cold War and quickly turned into one of NATO's favourite toys. Over 7,500 of these bad boys were built and shipped all over Europe. It was a workhorse with a purpose. Drop stuff on bad guys and get out of there fast. Its upgrade, the F-84F Thunderstreak, was sleeker and faster, but nothing beats an OG. F-86 Sabre, 1949. The Sabre was the answer to the Soviet MiG-15, which we'll get to. With nearly 10,000 units built, it holds the crown as the most produced Western jet fighter ever. And it wasn't just quantity, this swept wing beauty brought performance too. Capable of going toe to toe with MiGs, it dominated the skies with a kill ratio of almost 14-1. But that's a bit of propaganda. It was more likely that the Sabre kill ratio was closer to 1.8-1. Which means 9 enemy planes were taken down for 5 Sabre planes, so the Sabre was definitely the rival to the Soviets' MiG-15, but not the dominating force the US wants you to think it is. F-94, Starfire, 1950. Imagine being the first US jet fighter with radar and missiles designed to intercept anything suspicious, day or night. That's the Starfire. It was based off the T-3 trainer, but had a massive nose to hold its radar, and looked like it had a sinus infection. Only 855 were built, but it was a vital step in the evolution toward 24/7 air dominance. It didn't stay in service long, but it showed that jets could go full Batman mode during the night. F-11F Tiger, a 1956. This sleek, carrier-based fighter was faster than its predecessors, and one of the first jets capable of supersonic speed in level flight. The Navy loved its agility, but not so much its range. Only 200 were made, but fun fact, this jet has the honour of being the first and only aircraft to shoot itself in flight during a test firing. No joke. Pilot Tom Attridge shot his 20mm cannons downwards, then went supersonic descending and ran into his own shots. This caused the plane to crash, and Tom barely survived. Just a broken leg and some broken vertebrae. Don't trust anyone, not even yourself. F-101 Voodoo, 1957. Originally designed as a bomber escort for Strategic Air Command, the F-101 quickly became a multi-role marvel. Nuclear strike missions? Check. Photo reconnaissance? You bet. It even had an interceptor variant that looked like it belonged in a Bond movie. With over 800 units built, the Voodoo was like a Swiss army knife with wings. Fast, deadly, and cooler than its name suggests, this jet proved that multi-mission capabilities were the future. F-106 Delta Dart, 1959. This interceptor was built for one job: shoot down incoming bombers before they could ruin your country. The Delta Dart was the last dedicated interceptor the US ever made. Sleek, fast, and with a space-age look that made it feel like it belonged on Star Trek, the F-106 could reach speeds of Mach 2 and carried air-to-air missiles. No guns required. Only 342 were built. But bigger numbers don't always mean better jets. It's how you fly it. Just don't let Tom Attridge fly it. F-4. Phantom II, 1962 to 1972. The F-4 Phantom was the first true blockbuster of military jets. It served across the Navy, Air Force and Marines, which almost never happens. It had 2 engines, 2 seats, and had almost the whole alphabet as variations, from the Phantom IIA all the way to S. The Phantom II was doing dogfighting in Vietnam and pushing out wild electronic warfare. It was so good, even other countries couldn't stop buying them. Over 5,000 were made, and pilots either loved it or feared it, or both. F-16A/B Fighting Falcon, 1978. The F-16 is the LeBron James of fighter jets, or Michael Jordan, although I'm not getting into that debate. It was dependable, high performing, and still crushing it decades later. A single engine multi-role beast, it was light, manoeuvrable, and could fly circles around enemies. Over 4,600 have been built for 25 plus countries. Variants like the C and D upgraded everything from avionics to weapons. It's cheap, for a jet that is, effective, and remains one of the most loved jets in aviation history. F-14B Tomcat from 1987, cue the Top Gun theme. The F-14B was an upgrade of the already iconic F-14A. It featured more powerful GE F110 engines and modern avionics, which meant it flew better than any of its jet rivals. Only 38 were newly built, but 48A models got the upgrade package. This baby could shoot long-range missiles, dogfight at Mach 2, and make pilots feel like they could play volleyball at the beach. Sadly, it retired in 2006, but not before cementing its place in aviation and cinematic history. F-14 D Super Tomcat, 1991. The F-14D was the glow-up. It came with upgraded radar, a glass cockpit, and computer systems so advanced it could probably run Windows 95, even though it wouldn't come out for about 4 years. Though it still had the same sleek, variable sweep wing design, everything under the hood was improved. Only 712 F-14s were built in total, but the D variant was the swan song. Modern, reliable, and terrifying if you were on the wrong side. F-22 Raptor 2005. Stealth, speed, super maneuverability. Try saying that 5 times fast. The F-22 has it all. Built for absolute air superiority, this 5th gen fighter is nearly untouchable in a dogfight. It can fly fast, vanish from radar, and deliver death from above without warning. Still active today, it's not just a jet, it's a flex. Russia and China are still scrambling to catch up, but maybe not anymore. F-35B Lightning II, 2015. The F-35B is the Marines' favourite version, with the ability to take off from short runways and land vertically like something out of Halo. This variant is designed for flexibility, stealthy enough to sneak in, powerful enough to clean house. It's part of the F-35 family, but plays a unique role in giving smaller carriers big time punch. F-35C Lightning II, 2019, the Navy's version of the F-35, built for life on the high seas. With a beefier landing gear, larger wings for better lift, and compatibility with catapult launches and arrested landings, the C model is all about carrier dominance. It brings stealth, sensor fusion, and networking to the US Navy's front lines. And being one of the most recent models of US jets, it's where we say goodbye to the land of the free and jump into what could very well be the future of jets. But it definitely didn't start like that. China's military jets, slow and steady, wins the race. Antonov AN-2, 1947. Okay, before we dive into stealth fighters and drones, we gotta talk about this biplane. Yeah, a biplane in a video about military jets. The Antonov AN-2 looks like it should be crop dusting fields. And, well, it was doing that. Developed under the Soviet Union, it was later adopted and modified by China into several variants. One of those was the Fengshui 2, literally the Harvester 2, built for agriculture. But wait, this humble sky tractor also got a bomber crew trainer version, the Nanchang Y-5D. It's like if your grandpa's pickup truck could moonlight as a tank trainer. It even saw action in the Korean War and Vietnam. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for a biplane that can do so much. Nanchang CJ-6, 1960. The CJ-6 wasn't built to fight wars, it was here to train the people who will. Built in the Cold War, this tandem seat trainer had over 2,000 frames built and flying. It's also been used for agriculture and general aviation. Seeing the trends of early Chinese jets, you don't need guns and supersonic speeds to be multi-purpose. Sometimes staying at home and helping your citizens is all you need. Chengdu J-7 or F-7 Fishcan 1980. This is the start of a trend that China had for a while. China didn't really build their early jets from scratch. It was Russia that was doing the heavy lifting, and none makes that so apparent than the Chengdu J-7. Based on the Soviet MiG-21 fishbed, the J-7 is a near copy of the iconic Cold War fighter. It earned the nickname Fishcan because it was literally a can of the fishbed. But that's not necessarily a dig. The MiG-21 was wildly successful, and the J-7 kept that energy going. It was cheap, fast and relatively easy to produce, meaning China could start to stand at the international stage with the big dogs. It would just take a couple of decades before they really started to take off. Shenyang J-8 or J-8-2 Finback 1980. If the J-7 is a MiG-21 clone, the J-8 is its big, ambitious cousin. This was supposed to be China's breakout moment as a jet designer, but it ran into serious delays thanks to the Cultural Revolution. By the time it launched, it was already a bit behind the curve. Still, with its enlarged airframe and better weapon systems, the J-8 proved capable. It also proved that China could dip their toes in the aviation engineering game and do it really well. Not quite cutting edge, but enough to hold the line. Harbin Y-12, 1985. Not flashy, not fast, but incredibly reliable. The Y-12 is a twin-engine turboprop utility aircraft that's been doing the dirty work since the mid-80s. Need to transport troops? Y-12. Parachute training? Y-12D got your back. Medevac? Yep. It was China's all-purpose, do anything workhorse. It was the unsung hero of the fleet, the minivan of the sky. Not sure if China wants me calling it that, but I mean, you make a minivan for the sky. I call it a minivan for the sky. Xian JH7 Flying Leopard 1992. NATO is absolutely ruthless. China called this jet the Flying Leopard, but NATO couldn't have that, so they called this jet the Flounder. Absolutely devastating. However, the JH7 was a major step forward for China's bomber game. Twin seat, long range, and built for striking ships and ground targets, it filled a role that was sorely lacking. It wasn't the best in terms of manoeuvrability, but it didn't need to be. From 1992 to 2014, this local creation helped China reduce dependence on Soviet bombers and strike fear across the South China Sea. Hongdu, JL-8 or K-8, Karakorum, 1994. One of China's first true independent aircraft projects, the JL-8 was designed without Soviet help. Initially meant to have American components, the jet pivoted after US-China relations soured. China basically redrew the entire blueprint to keep it all in-house. This jet has dual controls for trainer use and light attack capabilities if needed. Pakistan and Egypt love this thing. It's the first example of China saying, fine, we'll do it ourselves, and then actually succeeding. Shenyang J-11 Flanker B+, 1998. Let's call it what it is, a modified copy of the Russian Su-27 flanker. The J-11 was built using Russian parts, engines, radar, and pretty much everything else, but then China tweaked it to suit their needs, especially in terms of multi-role functionality. It can handle both air superiority and strike missions, giving it versatility that some older Chinese jets lacked. NATO called it Flanker B+, like it's a high school test grade. Passive-aggressive, but not wrong. Chengdu J-10 Vigorous Dragon 2005. Nicknamed the Vigorous Dragon because apparently mildly competitive lizard didn't strike fear into hearts, although I feel NATO would have called it that. The J-10 was China's big debut into serious multi-role fighter territory. Originally meant for air superiority, this Dragon evolved into a day, night, all-weather, multi-role beast, just like America's F-16. There are whispers that it's heavily based on the Israeli Lavi fighter with Russian-style turbofan engines. Conspiracy? Inspiration? Who knows? With its Mach 2.2 speed and sleek design, it punches hard for a country once known for cloning jets. Hongdu JL-10 or L-15 Falcon 2010. Built for speed and training, the L-15 Falcon is a response to a growing need. Supersonic pilot training. Think of it as China's boot camp jet, but make it go Mach 1.4, inspired by the F-18 Hornet, but streamlined and without twin tails. The L-15 is slick, export friendly, and perfect for pilots preparing to fly 4th or 5th gen fighters. Countries like Zambia love it, and its light attack capability makes it more than just a classroom with wings. Guizhou JL-9 Shanying 2014. At first glance, the JL-9 looks like an old school jet trainer, but underneath it's surprisingly modern. Based on the MiG-21 family, It's been upgraded for the 21st century. It's a twin-seat attack trainer that can double as a light fighter. It also features a radar warning receiver, RWR, which is tech speak for it knows when it's about to get zapped. It's affordable, flexible, and a smart pick for countries who want decent capability without paying F-16 money. Plus, it makes a great pilot trainer for more advanced Chinese jets, and it was one of the first jets that put China on the map as a military to watch out for. Chengdu J-20, Black Eagle, 2017. China's stealth crown jewel, the J-20 is where everyone went, wait, how did they build that so fast? Dubbed the Black Eagle, this 5th generation stealth jet is their answer to the F-22 Raptor. It boasts super cruise capability, stealth shaping, and agility that suggests China did its homework. Either way, it's the real deal. It marks China's pivot from copying Soviet hand-me-downs to building something that actually gives Western air forces anxiety. The J-20 is big, fast, and clearly designed to assert Chinese air power in the Pacific. Gongji 11, GJ11, 2019. Drones are the future, and China got the memo. The GJ11 is a sleek, stealthy, unmanned, combat aerial vehicle, UCAV, that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. It was unveiled at an air show and became the talk of the convention. We still don't know everything about it, but it's designed to be low observable and high payload, a combination that makes military planners very nervous. With no cockpit, no pilot, and presumably no chill, it's China's statement that humans may not be the top gun for long. So who's got the edge? The US has the tech and the legacy, but it's not developing as fast as it once did. China, meanwhile, went from copying homework to building some serious machines of their own, especially diving into more drones. If you're betting today, the US still leads the air show, but China's not far behind, and they're climbing fast. One thing's for sure, if World War III ever breaks out in the skies, it'll look like the coolest sci-fi movie ever made, just with more real-world consequences. Don't forget to subscribe.